we are here at Blue Moon Comics shooting Anoraks on air episode 6, and Fantastic Beasts sucked. Just so everybody knows. No, I'm kidding. I actually did like it, but anyway, so this is of course a show where we talk about everything from movies to comics to Jarrett's Viagra subscription or prescription.
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay, we're getting there though. Okay,
So 20 years.
okay, fair enough. So anyway, so of course we have Mr. Jareth Love as always today. How you doing, Jareth?
Peachy.
Peachy.
Yeah.
That works for me. And we have somebody new at the table today, Miss Rachel Cudworth. How you doing?
Oh, my last name. That's
Cudworth?
a time.
Did I say it?
You said it right.
Did I say it right?
Yeah. I just
Good?
I'm good.
Okay. Who we are hoping to make a regular on the show. And Blake Ross is here. He's just over there running some tech stuff. So, yeah, he's very happy in his little corner. Okay, so what's been up, guys? It's nothing. Everything.
I went to a junkyard today.
What'd you do there?
I helped my friend look for a door to his truck, and by the time we got there, it was gone.
Did you
Wait, the door or the truck?
The door.
Okay. I was really concerned for a second.
Did you call the place though?
Yeah, we called the place.
You called the place and they
by
had
the
it.
time, By the time we got there, it was gone.
All the way in fucking Indy?
Yeah.
Why didn't you go there wasn't anywhere closer? Did you call closer places?
You called Frankfurt. Didn't have it.
Monticello?
They didn't call Monticello.
Idaville? Yeah, see, that's where you probably would have found it in that one, you know what I'm talking about? Idaville? You've never been to
Oh, well,
Idaville?
yeah, I've been.
Okay, do
I'm
you know the
shop
junkyard
familiar.
there? I can't think of the name of it, but they usually have, everything and anything you're looking for. I got a tire there once. Didn't think they were going to have it.
Okay.
Yeah, so I would try that next time.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so we're going to start with the news today. So, first and foremost, I did want to talk about this Stan Lee thing. And all I really want to say about that is because people are pretty torn up about it. And the fact is, and this is something Jareth brought to my attention, he's happy. You know, he's in a better place. You know, his wife just passed, and he's with his wife. And but I will say, Army Hammer. If it wasn't for that man, now I'm not trying to bring attention to myself here. If it wasn't for that man, we wouldn't be having a lot of the conversations we have at the table today. So, you know, we're blessed to have him. Yeah, it does suck, but like I said, he's very happy, and I don't know, Jareth, were you pretty torn up about it, or you a big comic guy? You know what I imagine? I imagine you had to feel
without
something.
him, I wouldn't be here. We wouldn't be in here. Without him, I wouldn't have gone to all the conventions.
Yeah.
And the majority of my adolescence, I wouldn't be passing out free comic books during Free Comic Book Day during high school.
Yeah. And I mean, I'm sure same to you. You know, you said you read comics, and
Yeah, when I was younger, I never got super into superheroes,
Yeah.
but it's a thing that existed. I can appreciate it.
Yeah.
I wasn't mad.
I mean, yeah, it's sad. You know, he touched a lot of lives. I mean, I just remember my first. I don't want to say encounter personally, but my first encounter with Stan Lee, where I got to see the man over the name. You know, I was watching Mallrats, and that cameo just blew me away. I was just like, Stan Lee's a savage. You know, he was really, really cool.
That's when comic books were at their peak.
Exactly, and yeah, fantastic for him to join into that movie. I'm sure he got a paycheck out of it, but you know what I mean. He came in that movie.
I feel like for most of his career, you could tell he was doing it because he loved what he was doing.
Right.
He wasn't doing it for the paycheck.
He
and
really.
It's very, very clear when someone's like that. You can tell.
And you know, people that I have spoken to who've had the opportunity of meeting him say he really is just a genuine human being.
Yeah.
You know, and that's really cool to me. And I do want to talk about the Lone Ranger's tweet that happened after all this happened. So
Rangers tweet.
Army Hammer.
Okay.
He kind of went a little unnecessary with his tweet when Stan Lee died. You know, here's the thing.
Wait, I need context for this.
Yeah, I'm giving it to you.
Cool.
Okay, so here's the thing. Somebody dies who's big, a celebrity. Other celebrities are going to post photos with that person on social media. It's just how it is, and that's how they grieve or mourn or whatever.
Oh, I think I know who.
Okay.
We're talking about.
Yes. So Army Hammer decides to. This fucking Winklevoss twin decides to tweet and go. I'm paraphrasing the tweet, but it was essentially, I love how celebrities are tweeting or putting photos with them and Stan Lee on Instagram just to bring attention to themselves. That's basically it.
Cheap jab.
Yeah.
It was really like, I don't care if you felt that way, but you just don't do that on the day somebody dies.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just not something you do. I just found it so.
I feel like
What's the
that's
word?
almost doing the same thing though. Like you're drawing attention
No
to yourself
kidding.
because you're like angry about it. Like you're
I definitely agree.
like
He sounds like an
just
angry
don't be a
fanboy.
dick. It's not that hard.
You know, I think honestly the guy was having a bad day. I would like to say he was having a bad day. So he sends this tweet out. And then what are you going to do once you send something like that out? Delete it? Then you look
You
like
can't.
you're going
It's
back
there.
on your
It'll be there somewhere.
It's
Someone will
worse to
find
just
it.
send it out and delete it. You might as well stick with your guns once you send something like that out. But my guess is he
Just
had a
not
bad
do it
day.
in the first place.
Yeah. No, exactly. But I'm guessing he sent it out and said, "Oh, I shouldn't have done that." Yeah. So, but I hope that guy's not a dick. I do like Armie Hammer as an actor. Not all his movies were great, but I do like him as an actor. I think he's got talent. He was great in Call Me by Your Name last year, despite what I thought of the writing in that movie. But yeah, so Armie Hammer, put down the phone. All right, so we're gonna move on. So we got some news on the Mandalorian casting announcements. So yes, I don't know the guy. Apparently he's on Game of Thrones. I don't know who he plays. I'm hoping you know this guy because everybody's so psyched about it. And supposedly he's playing the Mandalorian. That's like his part. But Pedro Pascal, any idea?
No.
I haven't heard his name. Pedro
Heard the
Pascal?
name?
No idea. Game of Thrones, I don't know.
I've watched it like up until the 6th season, or
I've caught
Fifth.
bits and pieces here and there.
it's a good show.
But
It's-
yeah,
um,
it's a great show.
It's just you have to watch it more than once to fully understand all of it.
That or watch it with somebody who's already watched
Yes.
it. And then they just like narrate the entire time like this is why this happened.
Yeah, absolutely. I still haven't even gotten to Game of Thrones either. That's the thing with that, too. It's like, I should.
It's
I
a
should
lot.
know who he is. It's a
It's
lot.
overwhelming.
Like, at this
Somebody's
point,
like,
it
if you
is.
watch Game of Thrones, I'm like, oh god, you're
No, no.
asking if I've devoted
Well, it's about
a
to
chunk
end,
of time.
so
to
I
something.
can catch up.
Well, you find a guide like I did. Like we binge watched that thing. I don't know. I was up until like 3 a.m. some days and just.
So you did watch Game of Thrones?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so if I said a Latino character, male.
Wait, you just look. Wait, what's the name? I'll just look up a picture.
Just Google
Pedro
it.
Pascal, yeah, Google
Okay.
it. I've seen his picture, but yeah, Google the character he plays in Game of Thrones. But
Wow, he's right there.
yeah, I don't know. Everybody's super psyched about this actor.
Here's just the pictures. I didn't
No
look
idea.
up specifically. Here, I'll
Type
just
in
look.
Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
But
I don't remember the character's name.
yeah, I don't know. Everybody's really stoked about him being in the
That's what he
Mandalorian.
looks like. Was he one of those characters that just like
Littlefinger.
showed up
You
for
know?
a little bit?
Yes.
Okay, so what do you think of this then? Now that you know who he is, playing the Mandalorian.
Yeah, he's a good Mandalorian.
You think so?
Yeah.
Okay.
His character. Well, basically, his character is trying to play all sides against each other,
Oh.
and the character owns a brothel, and he works with another guy that is in espionage a little bit. Basically, they know all the gossip in the kingdom, and they use that against people.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
So I wanted to ask you too while you're here, because we had this discussion. So you have Netflix?
Yes, I have Netflix.
Okay.
Oh,
So
God.
Disney Plus is coming out, right?
Disney what?
Plus, the streaming service.
Oh, are they trying to pull? Disney quit. Quit.
No,
Why
no,
would they do
no,
this?
don't quit. Keep going. I'll tell you. Okay, so we are getting. This is what we're getting with Disney streaming service. We're getting another season of the Clone Wars.
Okay.
2 confirmed live action Star Wars shows. I'm sure there will be more. You got 2 live-action Marvel shows, Loki and
Scarlet
Scarlet.
Witch.
Disney is yet to back up Scarlet Witch,
Well,
but
it's a rumor. But
it's pretty much in the bag that is going to happen.
Okay.
And then you're probably going to get, I would say, all their animated movies, probably even the ones that are stuck in the vault, which you never get. And then you get, what else are we getting here?
well, if the Fox deal goes through, we're probably gonna see X-Men.
X-Men, just tons of content.
Yeah,
like-
Disney owns a lot.
And big content, and I guarantee all the Marvel shows on Netflix are going to go over.
Yeah, they are.
Oh yeah. Why would they stream them on a platform when they have their own platform and make people pay for their platform?
Yeah.
Why would they? No. Yeah.
So I'm gonna
Yeah.
throw out a number, $14.99 a month for Disney. Say that's it. We don't know.
I am not that big of a Disney fan. I've never been that unpopular opinion. I'm not that into Disney.
You're not canceling Netflix.
Do you
for
like
this
Star
thing.
Wars?
Oh no. I'm more of a like a Lord of the Rings kind of gal, but that's just me. I don't dislike
So you
Star
getting
Wars.
Prime?
I understand the appeal.
Are you getting Amazon Prime?
I have Amazon Prime.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Because they're doing the Lord of the Rings show, so the series.
There we go.
So yeah.
Yeah. I don't like Disney that much. I feel like people who do really, really like Disney, though, this is like right up their alley.
Okay.
Even if it is $15 a month, I feel like if you're that devoted to Disney and you watch it that much.
If I had to budget it, I'm getting rid of Netflix immediately. I love the only thing on Netflix I care about is Stranger Things. They put out maybe 1 or 2 good
Just
movies
buy
a
the
year.
DVDs.
Netflix also is like going wild with Netflix originals, and they need to stop. I don't know who's
Exactly.
pitching these ideas,
But
but like
it-
half of them are good and half of
It's
them are like ooh.
oversaturated.
And everything
Yeah.
on Disney that's going to be an original movie is probably going to be high quality shit.
9 times out of 10, it's very rare that
Well,
Disney doesn't put
usually,
out something.
but
that's-
remember the straight to DVD stuff?
Yeah.
That's crap. Like the Lion King sequel, the Aladdin sequel.
Yeah, but if,
I'm saying like the original like things that they're putting out exclusively on the streaming service.
I find
I think
Disney
that
to
that'll be
be
good.
very similar to like Nintendo, where like they keep giving you the same thing, charging you full price for it because they can.
Yeah, but then here's the thing too, and I'm
people will pay for
I'm
it.
somebody who plays Xbox. Okay, I have an Xbox. That's my main console. Is
Mm-hmm.
Xbox One. But my thing with Nintendo, like if we're comparing it to Disney,
Yeah.
with Nintendo,
I'm not saying there's straight
no, that's fine.
parallels, but
I'm saying like, but with Nintendo, I hit myself in the head every day for not waiting for a Switch, to spend the money I spent on an Xbox One because they always put out the shit that lasts you longer, and it's a
Nintendo-
better product altogether.
over half of Switch owners own either Mario Kart, Mario Odyssey, or Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
Oh, 55% of Switch owners own Odyssey.
Yeah,
That's an asinine number. 1 in 2 people who buy a Switch buy Mario Odyssey.
yeah.
And it's a $60 game. It's never gone on sale. They charge $60 for the same type of game because they can.
And they
And
know-
Disney does the same thing. They re-release things over and over again. And we all saw the commercials, at least I did when I was little, where it's like, Bambi, they're back. Buy it again.
Yeah, but they
for the
do
same
that
price it
because
was
they
3
do
years
that.
ago.
They do that because people like me drink the Kool-Aid.
Yeah,
and that's really why they do.
it's because they can. And so I can like appreciate their business model.
Yeah,
But
it's excellent.
just don't buy into it.
Jared's like,
I don't care.
you don't care. Yeah, but I forgot where you were on with the argument. Do you think you would get rid of Netflix for the Disney stuff?
I'd have to wait and see what else is on it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not
Just
judging
like
anybody.
the DC streaming service right now, all you got is Titans. That's it.
Yeah,
It has to be worth the money.
but DC's
It's-
also got the $8 a month, which still Titans
Well, they
isn't
have
worth
all
for
of their
me.
cartoons on there too.
Okay. Well, I guess if you're a big DC fan, see, it
Are all
appeals
the
to
is
people
all the
who are
animated
hardcore
movies on
fans.
DC? Well, now I gotta think.
Well, not all the but all of their like the Batman animated series, the
Damn, really?
Superman animated series.
Now I gotta think.
Yeah.
Batman animated. That's
Do you
a
like
selling
Disney
point.
more or do you like DC more?
Well, it's $8 a month.
No, Disney definitely. I'm going Disney before any of these
Yeah.
guys. Disney and Prime, I'm gonna
Plus,
keep.
they're
Okay.
putting
Yeah.
on like some motion comics on there too.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Really?
Well, at least some like graphic.
You know, I
novels
heard
things.
this. I was listening to an interview with somebody who's running stuff over there, and they were talking about how they're gonna throw that on there. So
Yeah. It's an app too, so you can watch it on your phone, just like Netflix.
yeah. Oh, you weren't here last week, but since you're a gaming person, and I did want to ask you about this because we talked about this last week.
Okay.
What do you think of that whole Diablo thing that happened? It was like
I love gaming conventions. There's so much.
Yes,
bad
they are.
shit.
They
I love
are.
it so much. Okay, it's oof. I understand where Blizzard is going because the mobile gaming market is really big and it's growing and it's becoming an esport even. Like PUBG Mobile, I see advertisements for it where they're talking about it becoming an esport, and I'm like, okay, and it's on your phone, which is smart because everyone can play that. But Blizzard is not. They're not the one. I'm not here for it. Like, Blizzard started on PC, as far as I know. The Diablo port onto consoles wasn't terrible. I played it. Diablo 3, I played it. But I wasn't, like, wowed.
Huh.
I was like, this is fun. It's cool for, like, a top-down.
Yeah.
But, like, the whole going on the phone.
Gotcha. That's really interesting. That's an interesting point of view because I haven't heard that point of view yet. Somebody who's a little more understanding about it.
I totally get it. I totally get where they're coming from. Blizzard's not a dumb company. They're
usually not, but to
group
me
of
that
people.
was dumb. Like if it was, I told Blake this last week.
It's dumb for their fan base. Their fan base are not
Yeah,
mobile gamers.
yeah, that's
They're
what I'm
not
saying.
people who are going to sit
That's
on
what
their
I
phone
said.
for hours.
I said like if this was like something that came with an actual game.
If they did it with
That's
that'd be
why.
fine.
That's
If
why
it was-
somebody asked.
If it was a companion piece, I would.
Yeah,
agree.
some
Yeah,
people
yeah.
were like, "You're gonna bring it onto consoles," and they're like, "We don't have any plans for that." And I was like,
Right.
"Ooh, nail in the coffin."
Exactly.
Like, that's so funny to watch. I just felt bad though for the guy who was like super hyped up to be like, "Look." It was like an E3, the guy who was like, we're making a new Trials Fusion. Is that what it's called? The dirt biking game?
That wasn't
He,
the only
like-
bad thing that happened to E3.
Well, he walked out, and then, like, it was just like, everybody was like, we don't want this. And he
Yeah.
was like, yes! Like,
It just,
calm.
did you see the Battlefront 2, the Star Wars Battlefront 2 at E3? Okay. There's a guy, he announces the 4 new heroes, which is cool. They were cool. I mean, I was happy they're actually adding new heroes to that game.
Battlefront in theory is a cool game. In theory.
I like it now. I like that it's a whole different game than what we got at the beginning. I said this before. I'll say it again. I wish that they would stop using their initial players as beta testers. And they're not the only game doing it, but
It's EA that makes it.
yeah, exactly.
I just wish EA would stop with their stupid money grabs.
Yes,
Stop
that's why I
making your
don't-
games pay to win. Stop making
This
people
one's not,
pay
though.
Okay,
hundreds of dollars
this
to
is
play
why
the game
I'm
fully.
not a
Just
gamer.
release the game.
That's why I'm not a hardcore gamer.
Yeah.
I wait till the Game of the Year edition with the DLC
Oh, yeah,
comes
yeah.
out. Like, no, I'm not.
very hesitant to spend
Yeah.
$60 on a new release game. Like the newest Assassin's Creed that came out, I did not pay $60 for
Right.
it, and I'm still waiting. Like
The
if the
only
price
time
goes
I
way
did
down.
that was with
maybe.
Grand Theft Auto 5 because I knew it was going to be the shit.
Well,
And
yeah,
it was.
Rockstar, they put their heart and soul in every
Yes.
game they
It
made.
was, yeah. Rockstar,
Almost
that's
every
why they
game.
only released one game a year. Here's my thing with Battlefront 2, just to give an opinion. I like it now a lot more than the
They've
game I
definitely
received.
done improvements.
At first.
But the amount of criticism they got was unneeded if they just made the
The,
game
o-
that way.
the other
in
thing,
the
too,
first
and
place.
the thing I did like about it at the beginning, though, is because I'm a hardcore Star Wars fan, I like to get all the canon out of it. They had
Mm-hmm.
a campaign with a pretty damn good Star Wars story in it, so I did enjoy that. I just wish the online stuff was better. I didn't like pay to win. I thought that was stupid, but they fixed that
They
now.
did fix it. It just killed me that like they had to go through so much criticism and so much like I feel like that's
They
obvious.
did, but one
Like,
thing
your
I can say for
fans-
that game that no other game did is like once there was a complaint of a problem, they put a patch out immediately, which
Mm-hmm. Oh,
a lot of games don't do. So I'm giving that credit for that. I mean, that Battlefront 2 really, they worked their asses off more than most games. But the thing that happened at E3 was they announced 4 heroes. So they announced Anakin Skywalker, Obi-Wan. And, people are cheering for this because this is awesome stuff
Well,
for
yeah,
Star Wars
people-
fans.
yeah.
Then he gets to Dooku, nobody claps, and then he announces Grievous, and everybody claps again. It was so awkward funny.
I
But-
feel bad for the presenters every single time.
Yeah.
I'm just like I understand where like fans are coming from, where they're just like they don't want to show support immediately for something that they clearly don't
Yeah.
want. But like clap for the presenter. Like they
Exactly. They
they
did.
put their big boy pants on and went out there to tell you something that they thought
Yeah,
you might not
exactly.
like, but they still did it anyway. You have to give them credit for that.
Yeah, and this guy's on Twitter too. The guy who was presenting, he's always on Twitter answering fan questions too, which is
Yeah,
really cool.
so clearly like
He's a hard worker, but I understood the point of them adding Dooku onto Battlefront 2. That was one. Even though I don't know. I mean, I probably would have clapped for him. I'm a better person than that. But I honestly understood his point of view or their point of view for adding Dooku, because the thing is like you do have a lot of heroes you can play as on Battlefront, heroes and villains, but there's not enough Force users that you could play as. So it was, to add an even number of Force users on the villain side and the hero side made a lot of sense to me. Plus, there's already an abundance of awesome Force users on the villain side, so you might as well add Dooku at this point, and it just made a lot of sense to me. But just to keep within time here, we are going to move on. So Star Wars is going nuts this week. Cassian Andor series. So we kind of got to this last week, but it was short notice for me.
I'm surprised you didn't know about it.
Well, the news just dropped last week, so that was like Thursday, and like I always make the show notes before, so
Okay.
it was like I wasn't able to work it in. And the other thing was like when you said it, at initial thought, I wasn't necessarily stoked for it, but then I started thinking about it. I was like, and I told you this.
Did you
a little
rewatch
bit.
Rogue One?
No, I haven't yet.
Okay.
But I do. But I always remember one of my biggest gripes in that movie, and this is why I'm excited for the series, is because, like I told you this, Jyn Erso, right? We get this really nice setup for her character. And then here comes Cassian Andor strolling in like we're supposed to be knowing what he's doing. And that was my biggest gripe with that. They didn't set that character up at all. If this series leads up straight to the events of Rogue One, that's going to be fucking great. Like, that would fix my biggest gripe with that movie. And Cassian Andor used to be a separatist. I kind of want to know what made him switch sides. There's actually a lot of stuff to, to chew on here, I think. But I don't know. What's your thought on it?
I think that they could do a lot of backstory building with him, but I want to see him start out as a separatist.
Yeah.
Like from episode 1. Like I want to, well, not episode 1, Phantom Menace, but yeah, I want to see them like him start out as a separatist. Maybe they did something to his family, or maybe something happened to a loved one. Cliche origin story.
Yeah, and
You can slip a movie trope or a story trope in there. It's
Yeah.
okay. I'll
no,
take
well,
it.
I mean, there would definitely be time jumps if we did that, but I think they could make it work because it is supposed to be a limited run. So I'm guessing, like an event series. So I'm guessing they're only going to have one
Maybe
season.
like 6 episodes.
Yeah, a 6-episode series total. I would say
Like
like
Stranger
10.
Things?
If we're gonna do the time jumps, if we're starting out with them as like in the prequel era, and then we're gonna jump into Rogue
Well,
One,
like-
end at Rogue One, I think we
Like
should.
an hour each.
Yeah, for a limited series, I think that's fair. 10
Okay.
episodes, as long as you flush it out and you have the time jumps, it makes a lot of sense. I mean, think about it. We watched 24 episodes of Rebels per season, or I don't know if you've seen it all, but I watched 24 episodes of Star Wars Rebels per season, and that's a 20-minute a piece. Adds up to about 10 hours after all said and done.
That's a lot more self-contained episodes.
No, you're right. Well, not when you get to that last season, but each episode's definitely a continuation of the episode prior when you get there. But yeah, I just wanted to get your opinion on that, and then let's jump to this next piece of Star Wars news as well, which is pretty much episode 9. Man, there's shit going on all over the place with this movie. So not in a bad way either. It's just a lot of really cool news. So we have. So one rumor that came out, we don't know, but it makes me think that it's kind of legit because like Looper reported on this, is that there's supposedly going to be a scene with Princess Leia. She's wielding a lightsaber. Here's my question. Did they really have that footage back at Force Awakens? Because they're using footage from Force Awakens to add her into the movie.
Oh yeah, because the original
Yeah.
I'm so bad with names.
Carrie Fisher.
Carrie
Yes,
Fisher. Yeah,
thank
she's
you.
dead, so they have to use
Yeah.
like old footage to add her into
Yeah.
this movie.
Okay.
Like she's definitely in the movie, but like I'm saying, with a lightsaber,
Flashback, maybe.
a lightsaber. You think Luke trained her how to use the Force?
She
Is that
already
where we're
used the
going?
Force in the Force.
No, I'd
Awakens,
say she
and
used it, but who
used the
do you
Force.
think Luke trained her on how to do that? That's my point. Like,
I
or
don't
did
know.
she
There's
pick
a
it
lot
up
of
on her own?
backstory that we not backstory, but a lot of story
Yeah.
that we don't know. Like,
No, most definitely. I'm just, I'm speculating, obviously, trying to do it responsibly, but it doesn't
I don't think
always.
speculating in any capacity is.
Well, you just like
Great.
my point
But,
with that is
yeah.
like when you speculate, you can't get your hopes up, and
Yeah.
this what
You
happened
can't
with
jump
the.
on the hype train.
That's what happened with The Last Jedi. That's why so many people hated it. And I loved it because my hopes weren't up that high for my expectations to
were
be.
low.
Well, not expectations. I expect it to be great. It's a Star Wars movie. But my expectations for my theories to come true were low.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying.
I just want him blind.
Yeah, good for you. Maybe that's probably why you were fine with the movie.
Yeah.
Overall, because I loved it. Third favorite Star Wars movie. Oh, here's Dom talking about Star Wars again. All right, so
It's okay. I talk about comic books every week.
yeah, no, absolutely. And also the other piece of episode 9 news. I'm not going to get to this one because it was a rumor, and I don't want to get into all that, and it's just going to cause trouble. So we won't talk about one piece. But this piece is more or less more so fairly true. It definitely came from actual concept art for the movie. So what the description for the concept art is that there's supposed to be a scene where and we don't know when in the movie it's going to take place, obviously, but it's going to be Rey and Kylo Ren. They're just beat to shit. I mean, so like they've been through some stuff. Rey has her hand on Kylo Ren's shoulder, and their faces are drawn into together.
Like facing each other, or like back to like she's like holding him back.
No, like they're it's intimate. It's kind of a lot like the elevator scene we got in Last Jedi. And it looks like a scene where their lives are both about to end because there's a lot of fire in the background and there's a ship exploding. So what do you think of this? Is this going to be the end of the galaxy far, far away, or what?
No, they're not going to end it.
No big series.
No, I mean, no, Star Wars will live forever, but it's going to be between the times of episode 1 and 9 is what I'm thinking.
Well,
I mean, the Skywalker saga, I think, is definitely.
are they still
wrapping
giving
up.
the director of The Last Jedi his own
Rian Johnson's
trilogy?
getting a trilogy, yeah. He's still on as far as we know, because, yeah, I mean, he's confirmed that recently.
I feel like he could continue on with the storyline, but it doesn't seem like his style.
No. I just like with this supposed to be wrapping up the Skywalker saga.
Oh,
you know,
yeah,
I wonder.
I don't.
I guess my question is, do you think they're both gonna die at the end of this? That's a better question. Rey and Kylo Ren are two main.
Are they popular characters?
They're the main characters.
but
Have
are
you really
they-
not seen the new Star Wars movies?
I'm sorry.
Okay.
No, I'm just.
Yes, they are the main
but
two.
are they like well-loved characters?
Well, the thing is I'll actually explain this to you a little bit
Okay.
better because it's a fan theory that I wasn't on board for at first, but the more I get into it, especially after watching The Last Jedi, I've been more into it. So we got Kylo Ren, who's the villain, Rey, the hero of the story.
Okay.
But the theory is that both of these two are going to fall in love at the end of the day.
Oh, I hate that.
I would, but I usually do, which is why I wasn't on board. But with this
Okay, I don't hate
this
it.
story,
I just, like,
this story in particular, I'm buying into it because it fits the dynamic between these two quite a
Okay.
bit. And like it's not like they're super going into it. Although Last Jedi seemed like it was leaning toward
How
that
far
more.
after this movie is? How far after Last Jedi is this movie?
We don't know. We don't know the time jump. People are speculating 3 to 5 years, but I don't think so. I think there's no time jump.
So you think it's just gonna be like Last Jedi, like straight after?
Not straight after, but I just don't think there's a huge time jump for it.
I think that would make a difference in
Yeah.
my speculation because
Okay.
Uh,
No time jump. Where are you going? Are they both going to die? Are they falling in love? Where are we at?
I think they're both gonna die. I don't think they're gonna fall in love.
if there's no time jump?
yes,
Okay. I think they'll both die. Yeah.
I think they'll both die if there is no time jump. But I don't think there's a love story if there is no time jump.
Okay. If there's no time jump, I think one of two things are going down. I told you a little bit of this. Either they're both going to die or they're both going to become fugitives and go live in exile. Because either way that goes, they have to bring balance to the Force. Light side, dark side. They got to bring balance. That's how we know if we're going to wrap up the Skywalker saga, they have to bring balance to the Force. Essentially, like once and for all. And the big thing they could do differently is that they either die together or they either live together. That's how you balance the Force. That's my opinion. Speculating responsibly, people, but still. I mean, think about it. What else are you gonna do? Josh and I had the idea that they had their big duel at the end. This would be really cool from a filmmaking perspective and just something we haven't seen in a Star Wars movie. They're having their massive duel with the lightsabers, and the camera it zooms into like let's say Rey's face.
Yeah.
Then the camera just freezes. Then it freezes into Kylo Ren. It shows Kylo Ren. It's still frozen. Then they show them both like on a side view, a still view, and then the camera zooms out, and then both of them have killed each other. Their lightsabers are in each other. That would be kind of epic.
It would be epic, but Like,
Are they really? How many more movies are they planning on making?
Oh,
Well,
one
we're
every
getting
year.
a Star Wars movie
One
almost every year till we die.
Yeah.
But the thing is like they're all going to take place within the main within the years between Episode 1 and 9.
Okay.
So, you know, because 9 is going to be the end of the timeline per se. So
Okay.
yeah, so because 9 wraps up the main Skywalker saga, but the other movies like Rogue One and Solo, they take place, you know, before Episode 9 storyline. So yeah, so I wanted to talk about with all this Star Wars news coming out, because we do shoot at a comic book shop. Do you know that, Blake? Shoot at a comic book shop? Okay.
Wow.
All right. So yeah. So so glad you're awake, bud. So so Episode 9 news. We got the Cassian Andor news. Series news. So 2 questions. This has to do with comics for Star Wars. And I wanted to bring this up to you specifically. So first thing, because like I said, we're getting a movie every year till we die.
Ugh.
Do you think the comics last that long too?
That's up to Disney and Marvel.
And up to the comic book industry, obviously, because you know we had a discussion about that again.
First of all,
Well, get into the Star Wars stuff, then we'll get into some other stuff.
I'm
with
gonna run to
comics.
the restroom.
You're
yeah,
fine. Nobody's ever done that before in the show, but you're good.
How dare you?
Blake, come sit down. Take her spot for a sec. Blake's coming in, guys. All right, sorry. Go ahead, Joe.
okay. Star Wars #1. It has been that sold millions of copies, but
Yeah.
they had plenty of like variant covers and so on. But Star Wars will probably never end. It might end. I doubt it, but they start the comic book Star Wars for Marvel starts right after A New Hope.
All right.
But when does that end? It's that gap between A New Hope and episode Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah.
I feel like they're gonna eventually cancel that and then go on to probably between Empire and Jedi,
Yeah.
and then go on from there.
Yeah. Well, I got Blake here. We need to finish or Star Wars here soon. Yeah. But anyway, so the thing I'll say, the other question I had for you, which is why I put it in parentheses next to the Cassian Andor series, with the Cassian Andor series, do you think we're gonna get more
You're gonna get more comic books. You're gonna get at least
Rogue One based?
Rogue
characters.
One. You might get at least a one shot, which is like just a one comic book story.
Yeah, because I heard rumors. I don't know how true this is about a Jyn Erso series. I don't know if it's going to be books or graphic novels or what they're going to do. But
I mean, comic book wise,
yeah, and would you be into that too? Is the other question. A Jyn Erso line.
to be honest, probably not. I'm not that much of a Rogue One fan.
I'm with you, but like I feel like, but my gripe with it is because the characters didn't have development, so I feel like it'd be smart on Disney's part to get some people to write some comics for these characters, so that way I can appreciate it a lot more. I like Rogue One, I just didn't love it like I do a lot of other Star Wars movies.
Yeah.
So, but that's. Yeah, I think if we gave these characters more development, it would be a good idea. So I don't know. That's where I'm at, but yeah. So that was the comic question.
Got
But
more.
go ahead.
Okay, as a girl that's 20,
It's a very broad statement. But continue. No pun intended. Broad.
That was pretty good. Yeah. Blake, you like that? Go. Sorry, Jeff.
What makes you not want to get in the comic books more?
And this isn't a criticism. This is a discussion we've had.
It's
But I like asking people.
I don't know. That's what I'm saying. I was making sure she knew we weren't criticizing.
Yeah,
You were just,
I'm not criticizing. I'm just
Yeah.
asking because I want to know what the comic book industry could do to appeal to more people.
I don't think it doesn't appeal to people. I think it's that I've tried to get into like I watched all the Avengers movies after they all came out and like really tried to get into it, and I was like, all these characters are really cool.
Have you seen them all like up to Infinity War?
No,
Okay.
I dropped off after I think I watched like this. How many Iron Man movies are there?
3.
I think I dropped off after the third.
That's because the 3 wasn't that good.
No, it's
that's
not.
why. That's
I
probably
love
why.
the Iron Man movies.
No, but
though.
the
Like,
thing
Tony
is,
Stark is
thing,
the best.
thing I'll say, that's fine. The
But-
thing I'll say about Iron Man 3 is that movie doesn't. It's. I'll say this. It's a great Shane Black movie. It's not a
okay,
good
but
Iron Man
back
movie.
to the question.
No, but hold on. I was just gonna tell her so she can keep watching. Iron Man 3 doesn't do anything to hook you into the other ones, so just keep going. That's my recommendation.
My
Keep going.
thing with the movie.
Skip
I
Thor
love,
Dark World.
I love the character development. I need very in-depth characters, and I think when I watched the Avengers, because there are so many characters, they didn't get into them very much.
They do later. Trust me,
I'm
it's
sure.
worth it.
I'm
It's
sure they
worth
do
it.
later, but it didn't.
Keep going.
There wasn't the appeal. There wasn't. I don't know. It just didn't. It didn't draw me in like
We got a Twitter follow.
like video games do. Like video games are like vinyls. Like I love music. It just doesn't. Which I think most people like music, but I collect other things, and I have an appreciation for comic books and the amount of work and like art and just stories that are in them. They just never.
I mean, there is depth to the characters.
I
know, but
it's
just like, oh, boom, boom, they're there. It's more of an action movie instead of a story or a drama compared to
Is it-
like you said, like you like Lord of the Rings, which has a lot more character depth.
yeah.
Is it?
It's
Sorry. I was gonna ask though. Is it? You think it's time? The time you have? If you had if you did nothing
think-
during the week.
I think if I was introduced to comics a little bit earlier in my life, and God, even I don't know. I really don't know
I
why
could tell
I'm not
you-
just like a giant comic
Well,
book.
no,
Sorry. Go ahead.
I can.
I
Well,
can
like
talk video games all
I've
day
ranted
long,
about
but-
this before.
Alright.
Like, there's a company called Eterna Comics. Really thin paper, but it's only $1.50. They make it cheaper and cheap paper. If they
Oh no, it's never been like the price, because like I've gone to like I used to be super into comics. I used to. I was like trying to get into them.
I was the same, and I took a break.
Yeah, I took that break and then never came back to it. So like,
You gotta come back.
I remember like I went to like free comic book day, and I made my mom when I was like 15 drive around to every comic book store in like a 10-mile radius,
Yeah.
and there were a lot where I used to live, and I went and got all the free comics. I got like a Rocket Raccoon comic before Guardians of the Galaxy the movie came out. Like I realized they're older comics.
yeah.
That's awesome, by the way.
I
That
saw
was
it.
a Rocket Raccoon.
Yeah, it was
It's
just
my favorite
Rocket
Guardians
Raccoon.
character, but go ahead.
But like I saw the movie and I was like, hey, I have a like comic that I got for free comic book day.
Right.
But it never passed that. And I think it's because I was going to all these shops and I had so many friends that were super into comics, and I had all these friends who were super into just like superheroes in general. But like after I moved away, don't have all those friends anymore. I just kind of stuck to music and video
The
games more so.
influence wasn't there.
Yeah, it was more so like I was being pushed in one direction to enjoy
Right.
it. But like I don't have any gripe with it. Not
thing-
angry.
Sorry, the thing I'll say about that though, as an adult who's busier than hell and it doesn't have like a lot of time and wanted to get back into comics, you just kind of got to force yourself to get back
Yeah.
into it. As like Jared said, there's a comic book out there for everybody.
Oh yeah.
Like,
yeah.
okay,
Like I love Broadway Umbrella Academy, and I have the Killjoy comics. Those are my heart and soul, but it's because I liked my chem growing up.
Yeah.
And so I just have this appreciation for just all of those
it's
guys.
it's
in that
fine.
band
I'm like
and their
exclusive
art.
to Star Wars comics right now. That's kind of
Yeah.
where I'm starting
So I
back
have
off
like
at. 'Cause
I
it's
have
something
the
I'm into.
Umbrella Academy, the compilation books of all of them, and I
Right.
tried to get all of the Killjoy comics and like the alternate covers when they first came out. And I was traveling to a lot of comic book stores, and like I went at a Hot Topic too because they got them in, and like I was buying those, but it just dropped off after.
Well,
you
they
know
were
they're
kinda out
making
of
a new one actually.
They are?
Yes.
See, I'm just completely out of the loop with
Oh,
news
see-
with like that related to that.
See, the whole discussion was we were trying to figure out like what the we did this 2 weeks ago. I think it was like 2 weeks.
Yeah, I had
ago.
a rant.
It was what he did, and it was we won't get into that today because of time. But I'll just say it was mostly about, and I agree with him. What can the comic book industry do to appeal to more people? Like so,
don't-
somebody like you as an outsider. The bottom line of the question is, what do
I don't
industry?
think
What does the industry
it
do?
needs to be easier for people to get into. I think
You don't think there's a marketing problem?
Oh, I think there is.
There's a big marketing problem. We talked about this. You used to pop in your X-Men VHS tape, back in the day, which I don't know if you're in the VHS age, probably not. I think we're like the last.
Yeah.
I'm like the last line.
I had VHS tapes.
You
I
did?
still have
Okay.
VHS tapes.
Well, if you popped in
Oh,
an
yeah.
X-Men one, for example, it was something superhero related, they would have an attachment to that. It would be like a preview, but it's not a preview. But it would advertise a comic book. You know, if you
Oh yeah,
if you like this
you don't
movie,
you don't see
know.
advertisements for comic books
No.
anymore. You really
yeah,
don't.
I think that's
Which
the biggest
sucks
problem.
because it's like an advertisement for
Well,
a book.
you do, but it's on Marvel.com or their YouTube channel.
You have to seek it out.
Yeah.
You have to already kind of be
like,
in
oh
that
look,
world
it's a
to
comic
see
book
an
ad
advertisement.
inside a comic book, like
Website or something.
right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, why doesn't Marvel push more of their
because
stuff
Marvel
on
makes
Facebook?
more money with their movies.
They do,
They
and that's
make
why I
more
told
money
them
with
too.
Their TV
But if
shows. They
the-
make more money with literally their collectibles.
If
sadly,
the core material goes away, if the source material goes away,
I
they have
completely
nothing
agree
else
with you,
left.
though. Yes, and that's comic books are like the origin of a lot of. I hate to use the words nerd culture, but like
It is. They
it's
are
where a lot of
yeah.
it comes from, and I don't think it'll ever like fade out. There's always forever going to be people that just like hardcore appreciate
I
comics.
know, but it's shrinking.
But,
It's actually
yeah.
transferring to anime too.
I-
People are hopping over to anime because the artwork is more consistent, the storyline's more consistent.
That's the thing with the comic lines, and it
I
was
think,
like you said,
I
they
think
reset
it's because
themselves.
it's so
or
big, like manga and everything is so big overseas, and it's slowly trickling here, which
Well-
isn't a bad
well, it's
thing.
one
But
sto-
it's
like-
got such a devoted
Yeah, but
group of people working
it's
on it.
one story. It's not
It's not
Which
a
is
story
where-
that arcs in a
Yeah,
bunch of different
yeah.
comics. Yeah. I can.
multiple universes. That's a problem, I think, for people. Not myself personally. I think that's cool.
It's
but,
like I've talked to some people. They think it's overbearing. And I get that,
Mm-hmm.
but I've read an article.
go ahead. I was going to bring up a point, but go ahead.
I read an article where they said they should just like put the name, like the number of the comic book, like just have one storyline a year. Start in
I
January
like
and
the
in
whole
December.
multiple universes thing because if you're really into it, it gives you more substance to look into.
Here's something that I was going to say, and this is something Star Wars did, and I think that Marvel should do it all together. Because with Star Wars, when Disney took over, they just wanted to delete everything that came before because it
You
went
can't
so.
do that.
Well, no, hold on. Now this is listen. Okay, so they wanted to delete everything that came before it because it went so crazy, and you could agree with that. Like all the novels and comics
Yeah.
went so crazy with Star Wars in so many different directions. So Disney wanted to delete that and make their own line of everything. So everything counts toward this Disney canon, which is what they call it. But everything before that, it's still available for you to read. They just call that Legends. So maybe if Marvel did something like that in general.
Well, they were going to. Then they had too many universes. Then Secret Wars happened. They took in the Ultimate Universe and put it inside the regular
it's
just
universe.
so convoluted.
I
Yeah.
think comic books also, like you were saying, convoluted. I think they're intimidating because
Yes.
when I first started to
They can
try
be.
and get into like just the Marvel universe, I had no idea just how many characters and stories and universes and just like everything.
Well, okay,
the overarching
I'll give you another
Marvel
example.
universe. It's so vast.
Uncanny X-Men #1 came out this week, and it's I don't like that it's a weekly, and like
Oh shit!
yeah, a lot of complaints are that it has just tons and tons of X-Men. But like X-Men, hardcore X-Men fans love that.
That's
I'm not
fine,
I'm not a
but-
hardcore X-Men fan anymore, but like that's not how you start a newbie and the
Not
I
a
think,
weekly
I
comic
think
book,
it's
no.
also, I think people who like run shops and whatnot, having to open-minded people who aren't into comics a lot, I think it's also intimidating. Like when I walk in a store like this and it's running and there are people looking through comics, I don't know what to look for. If I walk into a vinyl record store, I know exactly what I'm looking for. I know what I want. I'm flipping through. I'm like enjoying that. But some people do that with comics, but it's intimidating because I don't know what to look for. I have no idea
Right.
what I would enjoy. Like
well, what do you like?
if I go into a comic book store and my intention is to buy something, I buy something with the coolest cover art. That's just me though, because I just love
That
art.
makes
I
sense,
love
though.
stuff
That makes
looks
sense.
cool.
That makes sense.
Like
That
if
makes
it appeals
sense.
to me, I'll pick it up and flip through it. And I've bought comics just because they look cool before.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But like,
Somebody who's like not currently an avid reader.
but I've also been to comic book stores where the people behind the counter are very judgmental about it.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
if you can't have a conversation with them, they're rude. Or like short with you, and that's like such a shitty mindset to have for people.
fandom's that way.
Come
though.
to Blue Moon Comics
yeah,
books.
and I agree. So like some people will be like really judgmental if you don't know everything about. Like, trust me, I know.
Gaming's that way.
I work in gaming. I live it every day. Being a female, I hate to say it, there's definitely a bias there. When you're a female, people are like, you don't know as much. I'm like, I do my research the same as everybody else.
Come to Blue Moon Comics, guys, and where they're not judgmental. That's a free plug. All right.
That's a free plug.
We do have to move on for time. Sorry.
Go ahead.
So I did want to review some movies. And I'll tell you something cool that we are doing on our channel now, is we have a section for just movie reviews. So if you just want to see those, you can go to that, which is pretty cool. And that's basically clips taken from this show where we review the movies. And I will get more of those up once I get off my lazy ass and quit playing Crash Bandicoot. Gotta beat Stormy Ascent, but I keep hitting those spikes. I've made it through 4 checkpoints, but we will get to that. I really need to. I'll do that when I'm done with Crash. All right, so the first movie I did see over the weekend, I was very happy with. Not over the weekend, sorry. I saw it like last Tuesday. 3 movies in 1 day, folks. That's no joke. Okay, so I saw A Beautiful Boy, starring Steve Carell and Timothy Chalamet. This is a really, really great story. It's a true story. The books are written by David and Nick Sheff. David is the father, Nick is the son, and they both wrote books about Nick Sheff's drug addiction, which is this movie portrayed very real. Steve Carell and Timothy Chalamet, I bought them as father and son. Whoever put them in that movie as father and son together.
Gold star for casting.
Honestly, I bought these two. It felt real at all times, and I really love this movie. Pretty powerful movie at the end of the day, and I definitely recommend you check this one out when you get the chance. But like I said, A+ performances all around. It was a good movie. The first quarter of it, I'll say, is slow. That was probably my only gripe. It was the first quarter of the movie. Rest of it, fantastic. It was really, really good. And Timothy Chalamet is up there, honestly, and I know you and I both agree. Heath Ledger has played the best drug addict in any film. Candy was a fantastic movie. Timothy Chalamet really is up there with him. There were scenes in this movie that just made me cringe in a great way because of how well, you know what I mean, because like it was portrayed so real and he played that role to a T. I was really impressed, and look out for this kid.
Was it as cringy as 127 Hours when he cut off his own arm?
Some parts, pretty much. I don't know. That was a pretty cringe-worthy moment, but some parts, yes, I gotta say there were. You just because the relationship between the father and son is just so close, and when you see what the son's trying to do, and you know the dad trying to save his kid, it hits you, man. There were some really powerful moments, some really cringy moments. Yeah, definitely really cringy moments. You care for the kid, and that's the angle the movie played that really worked for this. I think as a movie, it's probably better than Candy. As performance, maybe not, but as a movie, it's definitely better than Candy. So moving on to the next one here. I'm going to try to get through this one quick because I got a lot I want to say about Fantastic Beasts. Okay, so Boy Erased. Look out for Lucas Hedges. This actor is brilliant. Everything I've seen him in, I've loved so far, so I was excited to see what he could do in a leading role. He plays somebody who comes from a very Christian family. He's gay. They sent him to a gay conversion therapy. Another true story. This one was also cringeworthy at times, for sure. And this is probably, I'm going to go ahead and say it, my favorite movie of the year. This movie shows what's wrong with gay conversion therapy. And it does it. This movie, but it plays it so seamlessly. This is perfection. Go see this movie. Lucas Hedges did a fantastic job. I can't wait to see him. And Ben is back later in the year, and he was also in mid-90s earlier this year. This kid is down to pick up, or it's a lock. He's going to pick up a lot of awards this year. He's young, I think 22 maybe. Okay. I don't know. He's a young actor, but
he's got time to grow.
He kills it in everything I see him in, and I can't wait to see him pick up a lot of awards. I think he'll win Best Actor at the Academy Awards this year. I hope he does. So we'll get to this final one here because I have a lot I want to say about this. Okay. Fantastic Beasts and the Crimes of Grindelwald. Okay, I know Jarrett's not a big Potterhead. I don't know about you.
Not either.
Fine.
Unpopular opinion, I don't enjoy Harry Potter as much as the
And that's perfectly
don't.
fine. That's perfectly
Don't
fine.
enjoy it.
That's perfectly fine.
But
I still feel
I
like
like the first Fantastic Beasts movie. I
Okay.
thought it was pretty cute.
Okay, so that's good. That's good. I'm glad you saw it. Jareth has
Yeah.
not.
Yeah.
So I'll tell you all about this.
Okay.
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 So here's my thing. I have liked every single Harry Potter movie. In the
They're not bad movies. Don't get
Right,
me wrong.
yeah.
I appreciate them. They're good
first
movies.
two,
Good story.
First two
But-
are, they don't hold up as well as when I was a kid. I loved them when I was young. 3, a lot of people consider the best. I do not. I think the final movie was the best and the most epic. And oh my
I've
god,
watched
I
all
loved it.
the Harry Potter movies except for the last part of the last movie. Because I suck.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
that's the best movie though. And if the ending of the final movie changes everything we know about Harry Potter, which is awesome, and that's what makes it the best one to me. Read all the books. I thought they were all great. And I think J.K. Rowling is a really good writer, despite what you think of her concepts, Jareth. Hold on. The way she writes dialogue, the way she writes character development, she is amazing. And she is now transitioning with this Fantastic Beasts movie, the Fantastic Beasts movies, over to just directly writing the screenplay. Now, I'm going to talk about David Yates as a director. He has done all of these up to Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix. Ever since Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix, he stepped in and he's directed every single one. I think he's getting a little burnt out. He did Fantastic Beasts, and I loved Fantastic Beasts. Proved to me that J.K. Rowling can write a screenplay. That's good. David Yates, I thought he was Teflon. I didn't ever think he was ever gonna.
I felt like
be a bad director.
the first Fantastic Beasts was like, it was Harry Potter enough to where you knew what universe you were in and what characters you were looking at from what like perspective to take it from, but it wasn't like taking Harry Potter and shoving it down your throat. And you didn't need to watch Harry Potter to understand it either. Like
Exactly.
it was refreshing.
It's a new thing.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. I enjoyed it. It was pretty cute. All the little characters and animals. It was adorable.
So I mean, no, I love Fantastic Beasts. I was like, I could not wait. My only gripe with Fantastic Beasts is I was like, where do we go at the end of that?
Yeah.
Because if we're gonna do 4
I didn't
more,
think they were gonna make another movie.
there's 5 total coming in. So that was the thing. I didn't know where we went from here, but other than the Jacob story, because he started remembering things at the end. Okay, so Fantastic Beasts and the Crimes of Grindelwald. I did like this movie. I will say that right off the bat. I did like it, but
You said
it's.
it was crap when we started.
I was joking. A lot of people are hating on it. I like the movie.
Okay.
It's the worst Harry Potter movie I've ever seen, though.
Oof.
The first half of this movie is boring as hell. I could not believe the writing was J.K. Rowling. I
Was
didn't.
it too talky? Was it not talky enough? Was it
A little bit
what
of
was
both.
What was it missing?
No, honestly, probably not talky enough.
Okay.
It was missing character moments.
Oh.
There's so much wand whipping and spells. I didn't know what the fuck was going on, and they showed a compilation because I went to like an advanced screening for it. They showed a compilation of all the Harry Potter scenes. They had Eddie Redmayne and Jude Law talking in the beginning. They showed a compilation of all the scenes from Harry Potter movies that are going to matter to this movie. I was
Okay.
still confused in the first half. I was like, and the other thing is, and
You shouldn't have to have watched all. How many Harry Potter movies are there?
8.
8?
9 if you include Fantastic Beasts.
Okay.
Yeah.
You shouldn't have to watch 9 movies to understand one. You shouldn't.
You really do for this,
I
but
feel like you could watch some.
and
and
you probably will
basically
still be
understand it,
confused
but-
from what I understand to people who watched all the movies. The thing is, it made me so mad. The best stuff in the first half is honestly Jude Law as Dumbledore, and I like Johnny Depp as Grindelwald. I think he did a fantastic job despite popular opinion on that character. He killed it. I thought his villain was great. He was as intimidating and scary as Voldemort was in the original, or the Harry Potter line. He played a really good villain. I love that, and I love that they explored the backstory there. This movie needed more of them in the first half of the movie. I was bored to tears. It was so bad. The way they handle, because I know everybody's like, how's Jacob gonna remember Newton, all that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah. Okay. I had to remember all the characters and storylines.
They went with such a cop-out explanation for
Oh
that.
no.
I hated the first half of this movie. I was getting very frustrated with it. Halfway through the movie, fortunately, it was like somebody slapped me in the face and said, "Hey, now you got to pay attention because this is gonna get good." that's kind of what the.
So you have
once
to sit through the first the part to get to the
Yeah,
meat.
you do, and some of it's unfortunately important to the second half, so you do have to watch the whole thing. So
Okay.
it's going to be torture in the first half, but I'm telling you to watch the whole thing. It turned out to be a pretty good Harry Potter movie. The stuff, Jude Law as Dumbledore. Like I said, he blew me away as Dumbledore, and what I really liked is he kind of acted like, because they switched actors at 3 because. Excuse me, the death of Richard Harris, so they switched to Michael Gambon in the third Harry Potter movie. So what I really liked about Jude Law's performance, even though I like Michael Gambon better in the Harry Potter movies because he reminded me more of the book Dumbledore, Jude Law acted more like the Richard Harris version, which I thought was really cool. It was like
So
a way
it's
to
like
honor
almost
that
like
actor.
a throwback to the first.
It
few
really
movies.
was, and it
Okay.
was so cool. There's a lot of throwbacks and a lot of stuff that they took from Sorcerer's Stone that was
good.
like, hey, remember this? Which, as a fan, I was excited.
So a lot of Easter eggs.
Yeah, as somebody criticizing a film, I mean, it's like a lot of fan service. But
Well, yeah, but the Potterheads are gonna love it.
exactly,
then.
as a fan, I was like, there were
Yeah.
so many moments in this movie, and I'll give it this, where the audience clapped, and that was really cool. And then, so the movie starts to get good about midway through it. It starts to feel like a Harry Potter movie. And then the ending of this is just really, really epic. And then what happens at the very, very end of the movie, game changer. It changes so much for the Harry Potter series. And I don't want to give it away. I want you to see it. It's a pretty cool surprise. People are criticizing it because they're like, well, then that changes so many things from the backstory. A lot of hardcore Potter fans, they Last Jedi did, essentially, to where they changed something really, really big. It's not changing it. It's just adding something that wasn't in the backstory before, and Potter fans are pissed. Myself, I think that the Potter fans needed this kick in the nuts because they've been getting pretty annoying about what they thought they knew, and I think that this was a really, really good move, and it also allows it allows the series to live for 3 more movies, and that's what I really liked about the ending.
I was trying to think, I'm like, how would they stretch that story out?
And they did. They
for
did. They give you an
5
answer. This movie definitely answers that. The thing I'll say is, I think moving forward, we need a new director. I think David Yates needs to step down. I feel like he's burnt out. I feel like that's why the first half of this movie had terrible pacing, was because of his directing. And the big question is, and I'll ask both of you guys this, despite the fact that you're not necessarily Potter heads, J.K. Rowling. Like I said, the first half of this movie, I could not believe that this was a movie written by her. Do you think that J.K. Rowling should step down and give the screenplay service to everybody else? Now, you're taking into consideration, I know you haven't seen the movie, but taking into consideration the first Fantastic Beasts on this answer too. But and also take my opinion of this, and most people's opinion, everybody will tell you this movie was very boring. I promise you that, because it was in the beginning.
I don't feel like somebody who created a series should ever be fully not involved in that series, because I feel like when you have to have some sort of say. But if her writing's clearly getting dry,
It was in the beginning, first half of it.
but I don't know. I don't know enough. I don't feel like I know enough about that to make a decisive.
Yeah, I just for me
I haven't read. I started reading the books 1 through 3, and that's it. Maybe she should go back to writing books.
Did she write any books for the Fantastic
No,
Beasts movie,
well,
or is
there
that
was
just,
there was
They're
a
just screenplays.
there was
Okay.
the screenplays are for the movies, but there was
Yeah.
because Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them is the book that they show in the films, and it's
Yeah.
mentioned in the books, written by Newt Scamander. So
Okay.
that's what the name comes from.
Okay, that's where it ties in. Okay.
Right, but so she released that book of that Newt Scamander wrote, quote unquote, for fans.
So it
but
wasn't a story. Okay.
But it
okay.
wasn't a story. No, there was
Yeah.
It
Newt
was just
Scamander had.
it was just I think I've read it. It was just one of those textbooks.
I hope this isn't
Yeah,
one of those
exactly.
things
Yeah.
where they were like, "Hey, Harry Potter fans want something more, and we'll make a lot of money off of it. So write something."
I don't think anybody.
I really hope that wasn't how this came about.
No, and here's the J.K. Rowling thing. I don't think anybody should force her out. I think that would be terrible.
No.
This is her world.
Yeah.
She deserves to be a part of it. I think when it comes to writing a screenplay, though, I think she should definitely have input through this whole thing. But my opinion is this: when it comes to writing the actual screenplay, hand it over to somebody else. I definitely think David Yates needs to step out as director.
co-write with somebody who has more experience with screenplays, maybe.
Yeah.
Just
David.
because there are
Come with
great
ideas,
writers
so
and
they can
directors.
execute it.
Yeah. Because like I said, I don't think you can't pull the creator out of the. You can't, or else it won't.
Star Wars did.
Here's my pitch.
I don't know.
Here's my pitch to Warner Brothers for this. I mean, definitely always let J.K. Rowling be a part of it as much and come up with the concept, but just have somebody else write the dialogue, the screenplay part. And that's what happened with Potter. I mean, somebody adapted that book into a screenplay. David Yates. He was a screenwriter, and he needs to come back. That's my pitch to Warner Brothers. Get him back on board if you can. And then the other pitch is, because of how dark these movies are going, I'm telling you, when you see this new one, you're going to agree with me. Get Christopher Nolan to direct this next one if you can, because the as dark as this series wants to go, and this one's really trying. I think
I just don't want it to be Christopher Nolan-ish.
I think it's. I think he could do so many amazing movies. Dark Knight trilogy, Memento, Interstellar, Inception, Dunkirk. I mean, it's just amazing.
Like they're good movies, but I don't think the formula that he does, where it does something, flashback, does something, flashback.
Well, that wasn't the formula in Dunkirk. Dunkirk, he went with something entirely new.
I've seen Dunkirk.
Yeah, watch Dunkirk and then agree with me, because he did something entirely. Well, no, then come back and I think you'll agree with me, because he really did something entirely new in Dunkirk. I think if he mixed like the best of both worlds, his Dunkirk style and his Memento style, into one thing, I think the Fantastic Beasts movies can be great. And like I said, this movie seems to be a lot darker than the movie thinks it is. I think it's very dark. Like, some of the elements are definitely dark, but it seems to want to go darker than it actually has the ability to. And I think, like I said, moving forward here, let's get Christopher Nolan or somebody who can direct dark movies. Mike Newell would be great for this too. He did Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire, which was one of the darkest in the series for sure.
I remember as a kid.
Yeah.
Like
that was scary as a kid.
Yeah. Yes.
Bringing Voldemort back and Goblet of Fire. He can come back and do probably a better movie than this thing. I liked it, but it was the worst Harry Potter film. I liked it. I didn't love it. I should have loved it, and I didn't. I think the first Fantastic Beasts as a whole was a far better movie.
You took it for what it was and judged it on what you know.
Yeah,
it's fair.
But I thought it was good, and I like the direction. I think it's going to open up a lot of opportunities, and like I said, game changer. What happens at the end of this? I want Potter fans to give it a rest and not bitch about this so much, because
they're going to, though. Every fan base will have their opinions.
Yeah, I didn't have any luck talking Star Wars fans into liking The Last Jedi
on the internet
as much as I did, but my thing is, and Jareth agrees, Jareth agrees, I like when movies are unpredictable. This was unpredictable despite the boring aspects.
I don't like cliches.
Exactly.
I don't like tropes.
I like unpredictable movies.
I love it when movies, there is a story trope and they turn it on their head.
Yeah.
They make you think that.
You would love Star Wars: The Last Jedi, then. I mean, or you'd like it at least. I think, because it's one of the most unpredictable movies I've ever seen in my life. Looper is again.
I think Looper is more unpredictable.
Probably, but Rian Johnson is the director.
Yeah.
In general, is great. If you like unpredictable movies, watch some Rian Johnson movies. That's the point here, and more Christopher Nolan, because Christopher Nolan can be unpredictable in things like Memento and Dunkirk and things like that. So, and some of Interstellar was definitely unpredictable.
I'm gonna bring back. I've got one last question, kind of related to Warner Brothers.
Go ahead.
Do you think Warner Brothers could create their own streaming service that could compete with Disney?
They don't have enough properties.
They don't have enough of a brand recognition.
They have DC and Potter.
Disney, you think.
And DC's already got a service, so. I'd say DC is kind of like Warner Brothers' service to some degree. I'm sure they're getting
Warner Brothers
some of
has
the
their
back
hands
end off
in
that.
Too many things.
They do, yeah. It's like too many things, and then not enough franchise. Disney buys out franchises, and that's why they work so well.
Yeah.
Then, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't feel like if you talk household names, Warner Brothers would not come to mind. If somebody's like, what's a household name?
Looney Tunes.
Disney.
Well, they own.
They are, but they're not. Like, I mean, I feel like they were bigger.
Known, but they're not.
They were bigger a while back, like Willy Wonka days.
Yeah.
They were bigger then, for sure. I mean, they have a lot of Tim Burton properties, too, which could help them.
Whenever I think of Warner Brothers, I just think of Warner Brother Games. So
Yeah.
I just think of the Batman games and like
Yeah.
Shadow of Mordor and Shadow of War, and I'm just like,
No, Arkham Knight. The Arkham games are the
I
shit.
could never get into them. They all have the same
Really?
mechanics. It's all the same fighting. Just
I love the Arkham
reskinned.
games.
It's infuriating.
The Arkham games are.
They're not bad
no, Arkham-
games.
Ark-
They're not bad games.
Arkham,
They're just-
Asylum.
Arkham Origins was horrible.
I didn't play it.
I heard some
horrible.
bad things about certain Batman games. I haven't played any, so I don't know firsthand.
Arkham Asylum and
But-
Arkham Knight, and Arkham Knight is definitely a direct sequel to
Oh,
Asylum.
I just got some news that he's going to be canon in the Batman universe. The
Really
comic,
awesome
yeah.
because those are two of my favorite Batman stories of all time. Honestly, they really are. I love those Batman stories. I love the stuff with the Joker. Just it's such. I don't know. This is two of my favorite. Obviously, The Dark Knight, but is my favorite Batman
So
movie.
many takes.
but-
So many different takes on Batman.
There
it's
is,
Crazy.
and it is. That's the problem with comics today.
Yeah.
And that's the bottom line for the show. We are out of time, but I do want to thank Jareth Love for coming in here every week. He really does a fantastic job on the show, and I love him. And Rachel Cudworth, hopefully we have you back on. And,
Possibly, yeah.
yeah, and I think that this went pretty well. And remember, Fantastic Beasts was a little shy of Fantastic, but I do recommend you go see it. Anyway, so subscribe to the channel, hit that subscribe button below, hit the like button below, and do all that kind of stuff. You can find us.
You gotta tell him to hit the bell.
Hit the bell for notifications.
There
I
you
always
go.
forget. Blake usually reminds me of that one.
I watch too much YouTube.
And anyway, so we're gonna wrap up. Remember to follow us at Anoraks Official on the Twitter page. If you have any questions you want us to answer on the show, email us anoraksofficial@gmail.com. And you can also put that on Twitter, questions on Twitter and the Facebook. We do have the Facebook page, which also has a handle at Anoraks Official and Anoraks Official for Instagram. I've been your host, Don Martino. Thanks for tuning in today, and catch us next Monday. Thank you, guys.